What's happening, everyone? Well, I figure since Jackie's having surgery, so she's not here, I had to take the day off work to take her to get surgery, so excuse me for breathing like that. I have a lot of asthma problems. I figure I might as well knock out another video today while I'm at it, so I want to do my introductory video on the old film, old television series video. Oh, damn. I'm going to probably go through this pretty quick here, but I got a nice selection of some of my DVDs out. My movie TV series collection needs a lot of work. I got to add a lot of stuff to it, especially on the TV series part. There's a lot of stuff I want to own that I do not own yet, but I'm working on it. Excuse me. So far what I got here, let me start going through some stuff. My favorite actor of all time, is Steve McQueen. Dude was the king of cool. Probably the coolest dude that's ever lived, and just a phenomenal actor. He rose to fame from doing the series Wanted Dead or Alive, which I actually just started watching that recently. It's a pretty good show. I like a lot of old westerns. So, but I, for whatever reason, just hadn't watched that one up until recently. But it's pretty good. So anyways, I'll start off with his stuff. I have a box set of Steve McQueen. This is badass. In this box set, you have Tom Horn, really great movie. Papillon, another great movie with Dustin Hoffman, where they're stuck on an island prison. This one is really good, Never So Few. I think this is one of his early film roles, where I think he was just a co-star, maybe. Yeah, he was a co-star. Can you believe that? And Peter Lawford was in this one as well, before him and Sinatra had their fallout. But Sinatra was in this one, a war movie, very, very, very good movie. Ooh, the Cincinnati Kid, he's a gambler, poker player with a very good ending. Very good ending. Of course, the famous Bullet, great movie. Actually, I have 2 copies of this because I figured why not. I had found this somewhere, either at a store, and my boss had sold me, probably gave me a bunch of DVDs at one point, so I think he may have had this, or I may have found it at the video store. I just like having multiple copies of stuff that I really like. But Bullet is a kick-ass movie. Really, really, really good movie. Actually, they were showing it in the theater. They had like one or two different days they were showing it in theater. They've been doing old movies in the theaters lately, and I actually got to take my godson to see Bullet on the big screen, and it was so awesome to see that movie on the big screen. It was unbelievably cool. I got to see that, and I saw another movie. Damn, I can't think of the name of that movie. What other movie did I go see? Come on, cat, please. Come on, come on, dude. There was another movie I got to see at the theater too. If I think of it, I'll mention it. But there was another old school movie that I really liked that I got to see in the theater too, which is very cool. Is that the end of the box set? Oh, and The Getaway. This was not as well known, but I love this movie too. They did a remake with Charlie Sheen in it in the 80s. I've never watched that one. I probably will never watch it because I hate remakes. I hate them. I hate that they can't just leave well enough alone, take a great movie, and they can't just let it be. They always got to run it in the ground and ruin it with some shitty remake. But the original is phenomenal. Phenomenal movie. I'm not going to get into too much about what all these movies are about because I only got about 35 minutes of recording space on here at the time being, so I'll get back to that. I also have a little mini box that I got from my boss. It has 2 more movies I don't have. Baby the Rain Must Fall. I have not watched that one yet. I don't know if it's more of a love story. I hate love stories, but Steve McQueen, so at some point I will watch it. And this one I've not seen yet either, but it's got Robert Wagner in it. I love Robert Wagner. The show It Takes a Thief, he was in that. I love that show. But this is a really good black and white war movie from what I hear, and I plan on watching this at some point. I just have not gotten around to it. I'm watching a lot of stuff on DVR. Got The Towering Inferno, also had Paul Newman in it, another one of my favorites. The Great Escape, killer movie. Very, very, very good movie. Although I'm pretty sure Steve, he did not do the jump. The motorcycle jump over the fence, that was not him, it was a stunt actor. And that same stunt actor was in Bullet during the chase scene. Once they get out to the highway and they curve around, going on this big curve, this dude wipes out on a motorcycle. That was the same guy that did the jump in this movie. Thomas Crown Affair. They redid this one as well. The remake is not bad. I saw that long before I ever knew there was an original, but the new one has some cheesy ass ending on it. This one has a phenomenal ending. It's definitely a Steve McQueen style ending, and I love it. Very, very good. That's one of those movies that's got a really long build up though, and people, nowadays it's like people seem to have like just constant something going on, action, something, they don't like build up to movies. It's got to be straight into the point, and it has to have a lot of action, a lot of just, wow, 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 to keep people's interest. But that movie is wonderful. I mean, the ending is so good. It's worth all the build-up it takes to get to it just to see the ending. But I like the whole movie. This is a double one. This one is not his, Jailbait. I don't know what that one's about. I haven't seen that one yet. I may have. I don't know. But this one, The Great St. Louis Bank Robbery, that's a really, really, really good movie. That's an early movie of Steve's also. Hunter, I'm almost positive this was his last movie he ever did. He ended up dying in 1980 with complications to surgery for mesothelioma. They wouldn't operate on him in the States, so he went down to Mexico, I believe, or somewhere in South America or Mexico, and he shouldn't have done it. But I mean, it was either that or he was going to die anyway, so he at least took his chances. And then I got this Magnificent Seven box set. I've only seen the one with Steve McQueen in it, the original. But there are apparently 4 movies. I didn't know that. There's 4 Magnificent Seven movies. I had not seen any of the other ones yet. Another great movie. This is one of my all-time favorites, Ocean's 11, the original. Now, I like the new series, the new 3 of them out there. That Ocean's 8 shit, I don't know what that's about. It's supposed to be some kind of something like Danny Ocean's wife or whatever. I won't even bother watching that crap. It looks stupid. I want nothing to do with it. But the original Ocean's 11, 10 times better than the new one, and has a different ending than the new one as well. The ending in this is just awesome. The final 2 scenes, especially the last scene, they're all walking down the old strip in Vegas, all like kind of single file walking down the road. Nobody's talking. A couple people smoking cigarettes. The credits are starting to roll, and you got Sammy Davis's EO11 song, the theme song of this movie, playing. I think that is one of the best, like the coolest scenes ever made in any movie ever. It is just beautifully put together. I love it. And they got a sign on one of the casinos that says like appearing tonight, and it has all their names on it. That's really cool. Although of course they're not themselves in the movie, but I also have it on VHS. Look at this. Some lady, an older lady, had helped out with some stuff at her house. She was having issues with her roof and whatnot. She let me have some old movies of hers. She's like, yeah, go ahead and take them. And she had this, and I had to have it. I had to have it. I even have a VHS player still, too. I haven't watched this on there, but I had to have it. It's one of my favorite movies, so I had to have it. I'm also a huge fan of Hitchcock. The Hitchcock Presents, the half-hour series, and the Hitchcock Hour, the hour-long series, obviously. I've seen every episode of all of them. They are just amazing at the twists in there and all those shows. Every one of them has some kind of cool twist to it in the end. Very well put together. His movies as well, I like a lot of those. To Catch a Thief, the show It Takes a Thief with Robert Wagner was kind of loosely based off of this. I mean, there's no real direct relation, but it was just kind of based off the idea of this. Great movie. I love Cary Grant too. I love him. I love him in the old Hitchcock movies. He's a very good actor. North by Northwest, another one with Cary Grant, another phenomenal movie. These are both color movies as well. I prefer black and white, but there are a lot of old color movies and TV shows that I do like as well. Blackmail from Hitchcock. Murder from Hitchcock. Skin Game. And some of these old movies were turned into episodes on his shows as well. Like Saboteur, I'm almost positive that they made an episode about this one as well on either the hour or half-hour one. But there are quite a few of his movies that were turned into episodes for his shows. And then I got this, 20 films, a little box set. It's pretty small. Doesn't look like a box set, but it's got a bunch of sleeves in here. There's 20 movies, and it even goes back. I think there's silent films in here too. I didn't even know Hitchcock did silent films, but that is so awesome. I have not seen those yet. I started off watching like 70s movies, and kind of just like with music, I started listening to like 70s classic rock, and then I kind of worked my way backwards. It's kind of what I've been doing with movies. So I have not seen the silent films yet, but let me see here. Yes, there are some silent films. 1, 2. It appears that there are only 3, 4, 5. There's 5 silent films on this, so that's pretty cool. That was way back in the day. Another person I'm a big fan of is James Cagney. I love James Cagney, especially when he plays a lunatic mobster, that type. Oh my God, he's wonderful. Here's a thing with great guy, Something to Sing About, and Blood in the Sun. I've not seen any of these movies yet. I haven't watched those, but I love Cagney. Public Enemy. I was actually kind of disappointed by this movie. I assumed he was going to be some crazy mobster lunatic again in this one. Really wasn't the case. I don't know. It wasn't bad, but I was kind of disappointed by it. But this is one of my favorite movies ever, and one of my favorite Cagney movies, White Heat. This is what I was talking about the other day with Tupac, Top of the World, Ma. The end of this movie. Oh my God, this movie is so wonderful. It is so awesome, just all the way through. Suspenseful, very great. He's the leader of this gang, and they start off robbing a train. One guy gets hurt. They get away, and then they're pretty much on the run from there on. Very, very good movie. They get a dude to go undercover in his gang as well. And another movie I don't own that I highly, highly recommend is called Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye. That's another one where he plays some like lunatic criminal mobster type. And God, the ending on this one and the ending on Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye are just fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable. I highly recommend these. This and Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye. Highly recommend them. No old school movie collection is complete without the Blues Brothers. This is just... I love the Blues Brothers. I never got to see any of the skits, though, from Saturday Night Live. But I don't know if they even did skits. I know they performed on there, but I don't know if they did skits or not. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked that deep into it. I like Blues Brothers 2000. It's not the same, but I thought it was, for doing a sequel, it was pretty damn good. I think they did a good job on it, and I like it as well. I don't own it, but this is, and here's the thing, I hate musicals. I passionately hate musicals. Like, I had heard of the movie with Sinatra and the Rat Pack, Robin and the Seven Hoods. When I heard the plot of it, I was like, wow, this is going to be a great movie, and then I realized it was a musical. I'm like, dude, really? A bunch of mobsters just breaking out in song and dance? Are you kidding me? I don't think I made it past the first song or two before I turned it off. I just didn't even want to see it. But this is considered a musical, even though it's like I guess it is, but this is about the only musical in the world that I just would have anything to do with. And I love this movie. Love Blues Brothers. Plus, I'm from Chicagoland area, so, classic Chicago. Love it. Another person I'm a big fan of is Marlon Brando, Wild One. This is a really great movie, really, really, really great movie. And the girl in this movie, what the hell's her name? Mary Murphy. Wow, she was a knockout back in the day. Just incredible looking woman. Great movie though, really, really, really great movie. Another one. And this actually was an episode of some old show. God, what was it? Some old anthology show like GE Presents or Alcoa Present. No, Alcoa was something else. Damn, I can't think of what it came from. Anyways, though, there was an old show. I'll come over with it eventually when I'll probably do a film about some of these movies. Probably this one, but it was an episode of some show, and it was, I've seen that episode. It's very, very good. It's on YouTube for free. But they did a movie about it with Henry Fonda. I love Henry Fonda. He's a bad dude too. And this movie, all of it except for one, like the opening scene, I think there's one scene that's set outside of the room, but almost the entire movie was shot inside of one room, and the cast in this is unbelievable. There are just a ton of really famous actors. And I think the TV series had a lot of famous actors in it as well. But this is really, really good. Another one I had never even heard of, I just happened to see it at the store at Disc Replay, was Von Ryan's Express. Sinatra movie. It's a war movie. I think it's World War II. World War II. So he ends up in a prison camp, and this is a great movie. The ending is got a twist ending. That's what I love about these old movies. They had twist endings. It wasn't some predictable, hey, the hero saves the day and gets the girl and everybody lives happily ever after. These old movies had some really crazy twist endings to them, and this is a very, very, very good movie. Of course, Escape from Alcatraz. I love Clint Eastwood. He's not one of my top favorite actors, but I do like him a lot. I like him a lot in Rawhide. Rawhide is one of my favorite television shows ever. Definitely my favorite Western. It's got some of the best plots. And Eric Fleming, who played Gil Favor, the trail boss of Rawhide, was a great actor. I think he would have done great in a lot of other stuff, but he actually died doing a stunt in a movie. He didn't even finish Rawhide. They had one more season without him, where they did about 13 episodes where Rowdy took over as trail boss. And he was like some with a car underwater, I believe, and he couldn't get out and something happened. He ended up drowning. But that's a shame because he would have been a great actor. He did do a guest spot on Phil Silver's show, Sergeant Bilko. You know, I love that show too. That's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. That and Hogan's Heroes. Hogan's Heroes is great. Growing up, I never saw either one of those shows. I knew of them, but I never got to see them. I saw the Sergeant Bilko movie. That's nowhere even close to the show. His show, the Phil Silver Show, is just ridiculously funny. Just the crazy shit he comes up with, and Hogan's Heroes too. My God, I love it. I love it. Just the crazy things he says in there. Like Klink told him that some distinguished member of the Nazi military was coming, and Hogan looks and goes, "Oh," he's like, "Hey, you mean old Bubblehead's coming?" Klink's like, "Hogan, I would think you to not refer to our beloved Führer as old Bubblehead." So if you've never seen the show, you might not get it, but God, it's so funny. It's so funny, and it's on me. That one's on MeTV all the time right now. Phil Silver's was, but they took it off a while back. But that's on YouTube for free as well if anybody's interested. Great show. The original Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 with Walter Matthau, Robert Shaw, Martin Balsam. This is a phenomenal movie. The remake wasn't bad. I saw it with Denzel Washington and John Travolta. I believe I saw that one too before I ever knew it was a remake. So once I when I knew there was an original, I watched this. This is by far the better version of the movies. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I love Paul Newman. I love Robert Redford. This is an awesome movie with a great ending. I mean, the ending of this movie is my type of ending in a movie. It's phenomenal. Really good movie. Really, really good movie. Of course, Casablanca. Bogart is another huge favorite of mine. I love Humphrey Bogart. That dude is awesome. I love him in a lot of different stuff. The Big Sleep, playing Philip Marlowe. He was in, what was that other movie? He's been in a lot of stuff, though. Maltese Falcon. Although Maltese Falcon was kind of hard to follow. But I've only watched it once. But that's another great movie that I do not own yet. But Casablanca, I grew up knowing this movie, never wanted to watch it because I thought it was some sappy-ass love story. So I never watched it. I don't know why. Finally, I sat down and watched it, and I mean, yeah, there's a little tiny bit, but it's nothing really about a love story. It has a great ending. Phenomenal movie. I love this very, very much. The Man with the Golden Arm, Sinatra, very good movie. Very, very, very good movie where he plays a recovering heroin addict. Really good. DOA, I started it but did not get to finish it. It is a good movie. Edmund O'Brien. Edmund O'Brien is the guy that goes undercover in White Heat. He's the undercover cop in that movie that tries to infiltrate Cagney's gang. David Copperfield, I have not seen that movie. I don't really know anything about it. Another movie called The Chase, which has nothing to do with the other movie. Oh, no, that was The Getaway. I'm sorry. There's another movie called The Chase with Marlon Brando and Robert Redford. This is nothing about it. This one, this dude falls in love with, he starts working for some mobster and then falls in love with his wife like an idiot. I mean, he's got it great with this mobster's gang, and the dummy falls in love with the mobster's wife. So, stupid. All over some girl. Throws everything away over some girl. I don't know why people do that so often, but that's just me. I've not seen this one yet. I got this from my boss, City Heat, Burt Reynolds, and Clint Eastwood. I'm sure it's going to be a great movie, but I just haven't had a chance to sit and watch it yet. This is another one I got from my boss I've not watched yet. I think this is one of Bad Jack's favorite movies, too, or one that he really likes. I believe I've heard him mention that in his videos. French Connection, Gene Hackman. I have not had a chance to watch this one yet, but I do plan on it. Another movie with a remake that had a remake with Denzel Washington, The Manchurian Candidate. I don't even know if I ever saw... No, I think I did see that one, too. God, I think I saw that one too, although I think I knew that there was a remake, that it was a remake, but I didn't get to see the original first. I can't really remember because I've seen so much shit now, I don't know what I've seen when, but I have seen the newer one. It was a pretty good movie. But the original was Sinatra, and you got Lawrence Harvey, and then, God, what's the one guy's name? Oh, Henry Silva's in this movie too. Henry Silva's another one of my favorites. I don't know why I can't think of this guy's name. I know him too. Oh, James Gregory. James Gregory did a show called The Lawless Years. There's not a lot of episodes. Oh no, there's a decent amount of episodes, but there's not a lot of them on YouTube. But there is like probably 20 or 30 on YouTube, and I have a playlist I think made of it. But The Lawless Years was like back in, I don't know what city it was, if it was set in Chicago or somewhere else or what, but it was a police detective. And it was dealing with like mobsters in the Prohibition era, so it's got to be good. I've seen as many episodes as there are on YouTube. I've seen those, but I think there's about 70 episodes, so I gotta buy that series as well. But James Gregory's a really awesome actor who's been in a ton of stuff. But this movie is just freaking great, dude. This is a killer movie. I love it. Another copy of The Man with the Golden Arm. Suddenly, where Sinatra's trying to assassinate the president. It's only about an hour long. Great movie. I'm running out of space here. I only got like 13 minutes left, so I got to speed this up. But this is a really good movie. Trying to assassinate the president. Another Brando movie, One-Eyed Jacks, is a very good movie too. He ends up getting locked up for something. It's been so long since I've seen it, I don't remember a lot about it. But I remember it was a very good movie. And then I don't have a lot of blaxploitation films, so I love that genre. I've seen some like Black Caesar and Superfly. I got this one with Shaft and Shaft's Big Score, and I never got to see Shaft in Africa for a long time until I finally got one that has all three of them on it. Shaft in Africa was alright. I don't remember a lot. I only watched it once. But the first two are just unbelievably great. I love these movies. I love them very, very much. The first two are just incredible movies. Very, very good. And they also did a Shaft TV series where he kind of, isn't like fighting the cops, like he's not against him. He actually works with the police. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 7 episodes. I think I have one left to watch. I've watched all but one. But it's a really good show. I didn't even know about this for a long time. But they did a 7-episode series of it, all an hour long. So, I mean, it's basically like movies. And one of these episodes picks up right where the second movie leaves off. It literally shows the end of the second movie in the beginning of it, and then it just goes from there. But it's not the first episode on here. So, cool idea. It was good. It was worth buying. And then, of course, Trouble Man. I have the soundtrack. But was it Robert Hooks? Yeah, Robert Hooks. I love this movie a lot. This is another wonderful blaxploitation film. I love, love, love this movie. Very good. All right, now down to the... Oh, and I have the Bond box sets. I have all 4 of these. They should make a 5th one with all the Daniel Craig movies because he's about to do his 5th one. The only Bond movie I don't own, I love James Bond. I love the James Bond series. The one dude that did the one movie when Sean Connery had stopped for a minute, I can't think of his... Oh, George Lazenby. That movie was terrible. I mean, it could have been great, but George Lazenby just does not make a very good Bond, I don't think. That's probably why he only did one movie and quit. I think Daniel Craig's my favorite Bond, followed by Sean Connery. Even Sean Connery said that he thinks that Daniel Craig is the best Bond, so, I mean, there's got to be something to that. But I have every movie except Spectre. That's the only one I don't have. Or as Sean Connery says, Spectre. It's the only one I don't have. I've been looking for it, trying to get it, used copy of Disc Replay, but I just haven't run into it yet. Dick Tracy, I love the old Dick Tracy stuff. Although I don't think this guy right here is not the typical Dick Tracy. They have a lot of Dick Tracy stuff, like the old movie serials. They're on YouTube. Is it Ralph Bird? I think it's Ralph Bird. Is usually plays Dick Tracy. These are just 3 episodes that are, I think, an hour long each. But the old movie serials and Gangbusters. Gangbusters is just a badass old movie serial, and they have it where like you can watch each segment where they're like 15, 20 minutes long, and it leaves you with a little cliffhanger, and then the next episode will continue on. So you can watch it episode by episode, which is really cool. Or they have them condensed in like a 4.5, 5.5, it's like 3.5 to 4.5 hour long, like one just gigantic long movie where they cut the cliffhanger out and just show what actually happened. And it's pretty cool. Gangbusters was my favorite movie serial. And that's something that they used to go to the theaters. Once a week or so, you go to the theater and check out the next part of it. And before they had, before everybody had television sets, they just had regular television shows. The old movie serials are really cool. There's a whole bunch of them. They got like a Captain America one. They got, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of them. I can't remember because it's been a while since I looked at them. But if you look up old movie serials on YouTube, there's a ton of stuff that comes up. The Dick Tracy ones are they're a little cheesy, but they're really good. I've watched 2 or 3 of them, but there's still several I have to watch that I have not seen yet. But I do like the old Dick Tracy stuff. One of my favorite television shows of all time, Naked City. I have all 4 seasons of this. And actually, this little snubby here, this is an old Rossi 5-shot 38 special, like J-frame size. This was before I owned any revolvers, like any snub-nosed revolvers. And I kept looking at this picture, and something about that, I was like, God, I really want to go get one. And this is one reason. Looking at this gun here is one of the reasons why I went out on a revolver buying bender. But I don't have one of these Rossies yet. I really, really, really want to get one of these little 5-shot Rossies. And I like how the barrel sticks out just a little bit past the lug. Right there was the Smith & Wesson. The lug's right at the end. This is probably an actual 2-inch barrel, while Smith & Wesson has 1 7/8 inch. But Naked City is a kick-ass. It's like the anthology series where like the 3 main characters, they don't really tell you that much about the main characters. Each episode is centered around the guest actors and what they got going on. So over time, you learn about the 3 main characters a little bit, but it's not about them. Every episode, it's like it's got the recurring actors, but every episode is about the guest actors and whatever crime they commit and the solving of it, and and with them going through what they're going through. It started off season 1 as a half hour show. John McIntyre was killed off in the first season because he wanted to retire from acting and go live on his ranch, but he ended up coming back and doing wagon train at some point, anyways. But he got replaced, and then the young detective, there's like the lieutenant, and then there's like an older detective, and then the young, rookie detective. Well, the younger guy at the end of this season, he got replaced. They almost canceled his show, which I'm so glad they didn't. Instead, somebody bought the rights to it, and then they made it an hour-long show. And starting with season 2, they replaced the young actor with somebody, I can't think of his name right now, and I don't have enough time to look it up, but they replaced the young detective with somebody else throughout the rest of the series, and his girlfriend, the girl that played his wife, they replaced her, and the new girl played the young guy's girlfriend. They weren't married. In the first season, the guy had a wife and kid, and then from then on, it was just the guy and his girlfriend, and her trying to date somebody that was constantly busy doing police work. But season 2, season 3, and season 4, there's so many episodes to watch. This is by far one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. Very, very, very good show. I don't know if there's any of it on YouTube, but it was based off a movie called Naked City. It had all different actors, but it was still the older lieutenant, the older detective, and the young guy who had a wife and a young kid. And the movie is really good. That is on YouTube for free, at least as of right now, as of February 6th, 2019. It is still on there. So if you're interested, I'd check the movie out because I didn't even know about it for a long time, and I finally got to see that. And another show that got canceled, Mr. Lucky, with John Vivian and Ross Martin. Yeah, Ross Martin. Ross Martin was his sidekick, who was also the sidekick in Wild Wild West to, was it Robert Conrad, I think? And he owned a gambling boat. And like a yacht, they turned it into a little gambling boat, and just crazy, mobsters would show up out there, and all these crazy situations would happen. And then halfway through, the Lever Brothers, who was a sponsor, decided they wanted to wash their hands of anything to do with gambling, so they changed it to a floating restaurant. And somehow crazy things kept happening. Like, how much crazy shit's gonna happen with a floating restaurant? Very, very stupid idea for them to do that. And after one season, the show got canceled. There's only like 34 episodes. I really wish they wouldn't have done that because it's a really great show, especially the first half of the series. And Lever Brothers just dropped the ball. They blew it on this one. They had such a great... And this was like the #1 show, too. And it got canceled because of the change that they made. And then the last show I only have 3 out of the 5 seasons, is The Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone is one of the best shows ever made. I've seen every episode of the original series. I have not watched any of the later reincarnations, and I do not plan on watching this stupid shit with Jordan Peele. I have no intentions of watching that. But all 4 of the 5 seasons were half-hour episodes, and they did really good. It's hard to make a half-hour show interesting, but Hitchcock and Twilight Zone and the first season of Naked City and Mr. Lucky, they pulled it off. At least till Mr. Lucky blew it by changing it. Season 4 has half the amount of episodes, but they're all an hour long, which is kind of cool. Whatever show followed it had gotten canceled, so they decided to fill it up with by just expanding Twilight Zone and making it an hour long. But Twilight Zone, always a crazy twist. This is just a classic series. I highly recommend to everyone. There's just nothing else like it. And all the times they've tried to redo it and try to make it, it's never going to come close to the original. It will never come close to the original. Rod Serling was an amazing dude. He wrote episodes for a lot of these old shows, like Playhouse 90, and some of the other old anthology shows that are out there, and he did a lot of writing, and he struggled a lot in life and a lot of things, but he hit it with Twilight Zone. He really, really, really did a great job with the show. Every episode is just phenomenal. I think there's only like 1 or 2 that are kind of cheesy and not that great, but outside of that, every other episode is just unbelievable. But if you ever do watch it, like I was watching it on TV because they had it on MeTV for a long time. Do not look at the info, or like on here. If you go into these things, it'll tell you a little bit about the episodes.